What's up, everybody? It's me, Spin to Win. I am here, and I will first apologize. I've done away with the green screen. This new thing you're seeing is like a virtual green screen, so sometimes it might look a little weird. But I'm here today to talk about the mods on my Valheim server. So we're going to be checking out my test server where I went in to look at all the different mods, see if they were working, test them out. So we'll just go ahead and load into that. You'll notice right away we've got our custom load screens, followed by our custom tips, along with the custom menu music you're hearing right now as well. And soon enough, you'll hear the in-game custom songs. I think I've added around 20 or so audio files, some by submission of the people I'm going to be playing with, some I had from Season 1 of Valheim that I did, and still more yet that I just kind of found on my own. The rules were pretty simple. We wanted to kind of stay lore friendly-ish, so all the music is like instrumental, kind of fits with the setting of the game. So here we are in my little test server here. I'm just gonna run around and show you guys a couple of things, couple of the new features that I've added in, a couple of the old features that I've tweaked or changed around a little bit. So we'll go through that and check it out. And you'll notice, yeah, there's that green screen. I'm wearing a green shirt. That was probably silly of me. So, all right. As we get started here, looking around, I got my little structure here. All these banners around the outside, these are vanilla to the game. They've just added them in. So I just threw them up to see what they looked like. And they're pretty cool. Another thing that has been added to the vanilla game is, in fact, if I can get on the roof, there we go, the cartography table. So I used to have a map mod where we were able to share our map exploration as well as our pins. Well, the cartography table takes the place of that. So what you do is you click E to read the map. Obviously, there's nothing on the map yet because I haven't really explored it. But I do have, this world explored. So what you want to do is you actually click on this little crate right here. It says Record Discoveries. So you click on that. Now the table's been updated, and anybody that clicks on this is going to get an updated version of my map that I just shared. So that's a pretty cool feature that they have added in just to the vanilla game itself. So some things from last season that stayed, this idea that roofs can floors can function as roofs. There's a rule in Valheim that says you can't use a workbench or a forge or any crafting bench unless it has a roof over it. So this is just to make that a bit easier, and that will satisfy that roofing requirement. You don't have to put a straw roof on it. The other thing I've done is I've, of course, unlocked all the buildings so that you can place down buildings and things without having to have a workbench around you or in the radius. You can just pull out your hammer and build. Or demolish. You can demolish anything without a workbench as well. In here, this little hut here, you can see I'm going to get my rest bonus as I talk here. Got my marble chair, my Comfort 8 just sitting in here. Some things to notice as I go into my inventory. You can recycle items. So if I wanted to recycle this wolf fur cape, I would simply pick it up with my mouse and hit the delete key. As you can see, that's going to recycle it into its requisite components there, okay? The other thing I've added in here worth knowing about is the inventory sizes. So as we look around here at the various crafting structures, so smelter, kiln, all that kind of stuff, you can see that's 100 wood can fit in there now. Used to be 25, so that's been expanded a lot. So you can individually put the wood in there, or you can Shift E and add max wood. So that's going to be all the wood that I have in my inventory. Craft from containers is on, so it would pull from nearby containers as well if you had wood located in nearby containers. Same thing with the smelter. This has been increased from 20 to 60, so I can add that up with coal. Boom, Shift E, it's filled up with coal. Come over to the other side here. That's been increased from 10 to 20. I can throw all my copper ore in there with Shift E as well. Lots of decorations have been added. You can see these statues here are all decorations. If I go into my hammer and I right-click, you can see here's some of the vanilla stuff that it comes with. This is all vanilla. building, furniture. This is all vanilla to the game. But then I've added these extra tabs. So we have the very familiar Plant It mod, where you have your different plants, the ones that don't have pots, the ones that are hanging, your stumps and just basic potted plants to put, these other non-potted plants into. You've got your clutter decor, of course. You got your Starry Night painting. What would you do without that, right? So just throw that up there. So you can see I've got Starry Night. Okay. So that's the hammer changes. For the most part, you just got these tabs at the top. The other really, really cool thing that I'm very excited about is, of course, the build camera. So if I bring out my hammer and I push B, that's going to allow me to disconnect from my character. And now I can move up and down, and I can build things within a radius of my character without having to build scaffolding or anything like that. So this is really, really cool. To get out of this, again, just push B, and you're back in your character here. So pretty straightforward stuff with that. All right. Cooking mods. You've got your big iron cook rack here. This is vanilla to the game. So I've increased the amount of food you can put on the basic one, and I've added an auto pop. So when it in the vanilla game, when you're cooking food, it'll burn it if you don't pick it up in time, and it's like you have like 5 seconds, and that's super annoying. So I did away with that entirely, and then nerfed it a little bit so that you could have lots of food on the smaller one, but even more food on this bigger one as well. Along with that, speaking of food, I've done away with food degradation. So as you have your food buffs, once it's gone, it's gone. It doesn't decay over time. This is your ballista. Used to be, for whatever reason, the devs made the ballista target everything. That means you'd stand out here and it would shoot you as well. It's been modded so that it only targets enemies now. So that's super convenient as well. This is a new trap that they've added to the game. If I click on that, and give me 1 second to advance the time. If I click on this trap or walk over it, boom, it grabs me. This is a troll trap. So you just you build that, you rearm it. That's pretty useful as well. All right, we are back. What I've done is just advance the time a little bit so that it was day. I couldn't really see anything anymore. So back to what we were talking about, just looking at the additional content. They've added a hot tub to the game, so you can see our little bird friend is here taking a bath. It tells you all about the hot tub. Speedy Pass stone is 50%. You can see I'm running quite a bit faster. Dirt path is 20%. I think wood structures are 30%, something like that. Our farming mods are back. So if we come over here to this little test farm I have, we've got our flax. We can, again, plant any crop in any biome. So by default, that's not true. So now you can do that in any biome. You've, of course, got your new Mistlands, like these mage caps are from the Mistlands. I do not know. I don't believe these are compatible with the planting mod yet. I expect that update to come out at some point as we play. So that will happen. But to do this, what you want to do is grab a cultivator. You can, first of all, harvest. So let's say I want to harvest all of these onions. So what I'm going to do is I can do it one at a time. I can click it like that. Or I can hold shift and then click E. What that's going to do is that's going to grab that whole radius of onions for me. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant some seed onions to replant those back. So I'm going to select that. Again, I'm going to hold shift and I can plant them like this. Now there is a mod as well. So if I plant one, that's going to start a grid as well. So what I can do is I can plant, 2 or 3 of these, then hold shift to kind of get my grid lined up, and then plant the rest of them. So all that is pretty much the same as last season. I don't think there's much different with that. There is a timer to show you when things will be grown and how long it will take, just by cursing over that. And that's true of anything in the world. I can go over to these kind of, wild raspberry bushes and see that in 17 minutes they're going to respawn. Okay? So that's pretty cool as well. The tames. This was a nightmare to test. I built this little tame box here, put my little boar in here. This is Frank. I did test that you can name the boars and the other tames, so that's pretty cool. The way I was able to tame it is by throwing raspberries or whatever you're using on the ground in the pen. There is a mod for auto feed. I'm not sure it's working. I have been unable to test this one. So I think this has been at 50 now for a while. So I have no idea if it's working. It says he's hungry. Something tells me it's not working. So if I take these and I go over here, let's see if he eats those up. Looks like he's going right for them, and he's eating. Okay, so you will actually have to feed your boars. Update to come for that, I'm sure. I bet you it'll update once we get going. So that's an update coming our way. Okay, so the next thing I will show you is one that I'm very excited about called Runic Rune Magic is what it's called. That's the name of the mod. Essentially what you got to do is you got to have some rubies in your inventory as well as some stone. That's going to unlock the recipe. You're going to come over to your workbench and you are going to craft something called the Rune Focus. So I've actually got one here I'll get rid of. We'll craft this new one here. Okay. So now I've got that on my toolbar. You'll notice it's blinking red. That's because I don't have any rune magic in my rune right now. So I've got to go find one of those red glowing runes out in the world. So give me 1 second and I'll go do that. All right, so out here in the wild, this is worth noting, I have found one of these stones. Now this is one of the boss stones. If I click on that, it's going to register the location of the boss. These stones will not work to power your rune stone. So these ones, they look the same, but they don't function the same. So you can't use these ones. Okay, so here I am once again in the Black Forest biome. I found one of these rune stones. So if you walk up to it, you can see, okay, rune stone, I'm going to go ahead and read it. All right, it'll take a second and translate. So this one's the common one about gray dwarfs you'll find in the Black Forest pretty early on. What you want to do is you've got your rune stone equipped on your toolbar. So looking up at the top there, you can see mine is on 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away from this for a minute, come back at it. While I'm looking at it, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to push 6. Okay, so now you can see I've drawn those runes into myself. The red text is gone. According to the mod configuration, that should respawn eventually. It should like recharge, so to speak. Okay, but it does take quite a while. So now I've got my rune stone fully charged. Each stone will give you a full charge. And as you upgrade it, it will hold more and more energy, right? So you can't upgrade the runestone for additional cost. Clicking on the runic stone will bring it out, and it functions just like the hammer. So I can right-click, and anything that I know will be in one of these tabs. So based on this stone, each stone gives you something different. I have learned the basic foundation rune, okay? This is my favorite one and pretty much the exclusive reason I included this mod. There's a lot of other cool features, but this is the one. So what you do is you select this, and if I look at the ground here, you can see there's a circle or like a sigil of some sort. Using the mouse scroll wheel, I can shrink that or enlarge that. And if you look, it'll tell you in the bottom there how much energy it will take to accomplish your task. So for now, just experimenting a little bit, it's going to take me 9 energy. I'm going to go ahead and click this. And it has leveled the ground in this area. You see that? So it works like the hoe in terms of leveling the ground, but does kind of a much better job of it. So if I stand here, again, I click that, boom, right? It's going to level out the terrain for you in a much easier way, all right? This is meant to be quality of life, versatility, and honestly, the other things when you get into them, they're really cool. So the only thing I removed from it, there's one called Frozen Feet, which allows you to run across the water. Even if it's for like short durations, which it was, I didn't really want to include it. I just felt like boats were too essential to the game. I didn't want to take away from them in any way. So I removed that from the game. The other thing I removed, there's one that summons stones. Like it summons stone pillars and other like stones for decoration. I figured we had enough decoration with the plant life and all the clutter and all that kind of stuff. I didn't think we needed that too, so I removed that as well. But that is the rune stone. If you can see in the toolbar now, look at my energy level. It's dropped significantly. In order to recharge this, you will have to find another one of these rune stones in order to learn, again, more casting spells and augments, engravings, all that kind of stuff. You'll need to find more around the world to learn all the skills and also to recharge your energy in the stone itself. We won't get to this right away because it requires rubies, and we're not going to find those immediately, okay? So just be aware of that.